Hello, beautiful people around the world. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Ithaca Fan View. I'm your host, Charles Green, with my co-host, Jason Camacho.
And as always, we provide insight on all the sports going around in Ithaca and some upcoming events so you can stay informed. We may be touching on sporting events in the local community as well.
I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Savage Roofless, as you can see right here, brought to you by Ithaca Zone, Malik Morris. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to our other sponsor, Drop Spot, which is made by Ithaca Zone, Isaiah Nardo. So I want to give a huge shout out to those two for supporting us as we support you.
Now, for today, we have a very special episode. We have a very special guest, Peter Enzma, senior forward for the Bombers varsity basketball team. Thanks for coming in today, Peter.
Thank you. Of course, thanks for having me.
Definitely. So, first question that we want to get out the way and ask you, how did you get your start in basketball?
You mean for the team?
Team in general, just growing up, getting the passion for basketball.
I mean, it's a lot. That's like a way back, you know. I started out with soccer, you know. Yeah, I think in my neighborhood then I came to play soccer because in my neighborhood we have different kind of sports. It like sporting event and field, you know. And I think I came to play soccer, and then one of my boys that had the soccer ball wasn't there on time, so we was kind of waiting. And then some other guys were playing basketball, and I think they were short one, you know. So they were like, do you want to, like, you know, play, you know, just to complete us, you know. So I kind of like was like, oh yeah, I don't mind. And then I played with them, and they were like saying, actually, I remember they were saying like, this is not the first time you're playing this game. Yeah. You know, they felt like I was actually like, they kind of explained the rule to me, you know. But one of the things is like, so many times they called travel on me because I didn't know what it was. Like, you know, what is that? Like, you know. But it was pretty fun. I think that was how, you know, I just realized my mind started shifting to basketball.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So like when you were playing back in your neighborhood, did like they tell you like you're kind of good, kid?
Yeah, it's more like how like it's like amazing for you to play this game for the first time, and you're actually like, you know, running around, you know, doing a couple stuff that, you know, that could be very unusual for someone that is doing it for the first time.
You were just a natural.
Yeah.
You were just natural.
Yeah.
You just knew how to.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I feel like, you know, playing soccer and also transiting to basketball wasn't like, you know, athletic wise, it wasn't like very challenging when it comes to that because you already had that foundation.
The foundation, the footwork.
Yeah,
you learned.
You just have to learn the rules and also the
fundamentals.
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
It's like you just got to learn the way the game is
played
correctly.
Yeah, definitely. So, but if you want to stretch that to like how I started, I had my start on the basketball team at Ithaca College. Yeah, I mean, I think when I came down, you know, like, you know, we have this captain's practice. You know, we have to practice a team before the coaches get involved. You know, we played a lot of pickups. You know. And I realized that, you know, everybody wants to shoot, you know, pretty much. Like, everybody wants to shoot, and nobody wants to, like, you know, do something else, you know, just like in another way to help the team, you know. So I felt like, you know, like I felt like maybe I should, like, you know, start working my way up, you know, find another way I could help the team, which is more like, you know, being more like of a defensive player or a guy that, you know, helps on both ends, which is like, you know, getting rebounds and stuff. You know, I want to be like that attacking player, you know what I mean? So I wasn't like pretty conditioning myself for shooting, you know. I gave extra time trying to work on all that kind of craftiness around the rim.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I think, you know, and I also like kind of like, that was when I realized that, you know, some of my teammates felt like I could rebound very well. You know, I never like paid attention to that before. But I think when the coaches started, you know, getting involved, you know, they saw their potentials as well. I think that's how I started playing big, like 5 position. Just because of my rebounding ability. It's not like I wasn't like fundamentally sound to play 5.
You had the heart to play position.
Yeah, but just so that's how, you know. And at that point, you know, nobody else was like actually doing this. You know, they were like more about shooting the ball from beyond the 3-point arc. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So why not? So that's how it came down to be starting big man.
So like, moving on, like, so like, what would you say has been motivating you like throughout your time here at IC? Your past 4 years, each season brings something new. What's been motivating you to just keep on playing and just keep on giving it your all?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot, that actually motivates me when it comes to like season after season, because one of the things is like you get a lot of people tell you like like they try to tell you how you are, and and at the same time you don't want to be complacent with those. You just don't want to get comfortable. You still want to want to get better. And there are so many people that always try to support you because because you play this game. And when those kind of people comes to the game, you really want to like prove to them that it's worth their time coming to watch you, or support the team. Another thing is like, I believe like I'm a very hard worker, so for me, I always feel like, it's all about, like, trying to get to the next level has to come with a lot of, dedication, a lot of hard work and stuff. So I can't be on the same level, year after year. That means I'm not like growing as a player. You know what I mean? I had, different challenges, like throughout my 4 years when it comes to like, getting injured and stuff. But at the same time, I feel like there has never been a year after year I haven't put more, work, and effort just to improve my game.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so.
Yeah, going off of what you said about hard work, like that's very interesting. Because the next question I want to ask you is, what other areas in your life or values or lessons that basketball has taught you that carries over to your personal life?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of them. Like one thing, being part of a sports team, is like you have to be very committed, and that's one thing that you're probably gonna see, outside the basketball life. You have to be very committed, and it comes down to like, self-sacrifice, and also.
Definitely.
And also being very dedicated, and also, sometimes you gotta be very accountable for your own behavior, Sometimes, you just gotta, man up, just like apart from the practice, like the team practice, you also wanna develop your own self. That means you have to spend more extra individual time, to work on your own self. And I think in the real life, I think that's what it should be, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes you might have a project in your place of work, at the same time you want to like spend more time, maybe like, it's like unpaid time you spend just to get to know more about, what you're doing, and all that stuff. So that comes down to, just being dedicated to whatever cause, like, you believe in, yeah.
Important. Definitely important.
So just moving on to a little bit more of the family aspect of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
What does the basketball family mean to you? Like, I can see you guys are really close, and I also know that you're one of the few seniors on the team this year. So there's some new leadership roles that came on with that. So what was the family aspect of like basketball for you?
I mean, I feel like like if you come to think of it, like we practice like almost like every day throughout the whole semester, and each semester is like 4 months. And when you look at it, like you spend more time with your teammates than even your family, in a year, you know what I mean?
That's true.
So these people gotta mean a lot to you. They have to like, like be family to you.
Yeah.
And that means, you just have to find a way to like support each other, be like this kind of like, supportive, system for one another, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that actually, like, for me, coming from a very, far place, coming from Nigeria, it's like 1,000 miles away, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember when I came for my visit, one thing the conversation I had with the head coach was, like, I'm not looking for a place to play, like some type of high level basketball, or just like, looking at D1 schools, or like, because I got recruited by JUCOs, like D1 JUCOs, which is like really good program.
Amazing.
But but that's not what I'm looking into. from my visit, I was trying to, I was trying to find is like a place that could mean a lot to me, more like family, you know. And from my visit and the guys I spent time with, I was able to spot that out, you know. I think I was with Carol and Mark, and like the bond I could, you know, see among the guys, you know, I was like, man, I mean, that's the part of the system I want to be part, you know, I want to be involved in, you know. And then, like I said, it just comes down to, you know, the people you spend a lot of time with, you know, in the, like, on the basketball court, and most of the time, you know, during our social activities and stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, so it actually, you know, means a lot. So you just gotta, you know, have that open-mindedness, you know, to welcome, you know, your teammates as your, you know, part of the brotherhood.
Definitely. Yeah.
So just like moving to like continue. You just said that you come a long way from Nigeria.
Yeah.
And I know in the past, you and I have had conversations about some of the stuff you do for your community back home there. Can you tell us again a little more about that and get into some detail about some of the things you do for your family and your community back in Nigeria?
Yeah, so basically, you know, like what I try to do is, you know, when I was playing back home, you know, like I remember sometimes, you know, I would come to, you know, the basketball court. They would, you know, they would have like a bunch of basketball shoes, you know, and they would just like, you know, say someone, you know, just, you know, give away those shoes, and they would just call me up and just make me to like, you know, pick whatever shoe that I want. You know what I mean? These people are people that I do not even know. They might not even be there. You know what I mean? So that's very, you know, that meant a lot to me, you know, and it was very actually, you know, encouraging, you know. So when I felt like I'm in a position to like do the same, you know, that's when I felt like, you know, like I could also find a way to pay this forward. You know, that's when I started my, you know, my foundation of raising basketball, basically not basketball, but more like athletic shoes, you know, which I send back home, you know, and usually I take them, you know,
that's
myself.
Awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've had a couple experiences where I give someone, you know, a bunch of shoes to go out there and, you know, give people, and I realized a couple of his families were wearing those shoes, you know. So now I kind of like, you know, pack them. Like, it wasn't any a big deal for me. As long as somebody's wearing them, you know, that's still cool to me. You know, it's just that he wasn't really accountable.
He wasn't accountable.
Yeah, you know, yeah. So you know, when you go out there, you give the shoes away. You know, the kind of like smile you put on, you know, everybody's face. You know, but you know, especially the young kids that just started the game. You know, it actually like, I think it's like very, very, you know, satisfying, you know what I mean? Like you get this kind of personal satisfaction from, you know, putting a smile on people's face, you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it means a lot to me. So, yeah.
I kind of want to get your perspective on this, because for you guys that don't know, I was recruited here to play football, and Ithaca College is a well-known private college, and it's the minority population to the Caucasian population is very few, and the minorities here know each other. So I kind of just want to get like your perspective on how does a collegiate team that's mostly white, and you're being a very small percentage of few brothers on the team. How does that feel?
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, like because I grew up in a very different place where I feel like, first of all, I didn't like actually, like when I first came, I didn't actually pay attention to those. But one thing I know for sure is like sometimes I make jokes people don't, you know, get it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I
I make jokes and people don't get it, and I be like, man, you guys don't know how funny this could be right now. You know what I mean? Yeah, but and sometimes, you know, I feel like the way I analyze things could be different. You know what I mean? Like they might not actually get my point of view, you know. I mean, like, so sometimes like I kind of like, man, I stopped trying. You know what I mean? I felt like maybe, you know, if I reflect back at it, maybe I would have tried more, but at the same time, you know, I feel like, you know, like there are things, you know, like especially, you know, I think when I came, like the whole American operating system, like it was actually like, you know, very, you know, strange to
It must have been a very complicated thing to figure out.
Yeah, some of the, like there are certain things they would say, I might misinterpret it. It could be like in a bad way or in a good way. You know what I mean? So it could just it just means like I'm still trying to understand what is actually going on.
Yeah,
you know what
definitely.
I mean? Yeah, but
I mean, there was a huge culture. I mean, there's a huge culture.
Cultural shift.
Cultural shift, and there's a barrier. That, like, between you and some of your teammates, where some things can't be fully understood, and I completely understand that.
Yeah.
I was in a very similar situation when I was in high school. I went to a predominantly white institution, coming from from an inner city school where it was 90% black kids. We did things differently. We operated differently, and then you're put in this new environment, and you're just like, how do I handle this? This is just completely this is something new for me.
Right.
And I bet you feel the same way.
I mean, that kind of, because I went to a suburb school, so it's like kind of I got the experience offhand, like to be mixed with different people from all races and stuff. So like it was kind of interesting in that way, like because you get to learn a lot about yourself and about other people that you really don't know about. So like honestly, like I feel like depending on the relationships you make of where you come from and how people accept you for who you are, like it makes things a lot easier for you to ease into a situation of coming to a predominantly white college or something like that. That's pretty much how I looked at it. Me coming in, Ithaca, like you'll be surprised. Football is a predominantly black sport. It seems like, but here at Ithaca College, it was way more white players than there were black players.
So same thing with basketball. On the basketball team, we have 2 guys. We have 3, maybe 4 guys of color on the basketball team. And then basketball is a very, like in the NBA, if you look on the starting lineups across the NBA, you're gonna see predominantly black players rather than white players. It's just, I mean, it's just how a lot of these institutions are. It's something a lot of black students got to deal with in some of these smaller institutions around the country.
A spin-off question from that: do you think, due to like the lack of minority involvement in the teams, like for my sake for football, like we have not that many black players, do you think that hinders the team from like competing at the highest level, like it can, or do you think like it doesn't have no effect?
I mean, I don't actually, like what I think about that is basically, like I feel like regardless of race, people could always like, like it doesn't actually mean people cannot find a common ground. You know what I mean? But most of the time you see that people just don't want to be open, to new ideas or new experiences or something that is, not usual to them. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Like for me, like when I was like, I was back on like I was like a ball shooter. You know what I mean? Like I'm like a really good shooter. You know, even when I came from here up, I played like high school. I was like really like a good shooter. But there was so many doubts. Especially when I came here, there was so many doubts about my ability to shoot. That became kind of discouraging. And now so I didn't believe in those, but at the same time I felt like okay, like I might not be my forte might not be shooting, but at the same time I feel like I could also like shoot, but let me just take advantage of what I feel like maybe could be more efficient,
Gotcha.
Like where I could be more effective, but I don't think that there's gonna be like that could affect like someone like me. I feel like I'm really mentally strong, but someone that is not, that could be a problem. And I see why that could be a problem to them. You know what I mean?
I mean, I have multiple friends here at this school who the culture shock was a lot for them, and they didn't they had struggled finding ways to cope with it and deal with it and adjust. But it's great that you've been able to adjust and like you've been finally able to I mean, you have a family here, and that's awesome. So like moving more into your final season of basketball. This was a great year for you. Record breaking. you became the only player in Ithaca College history to record 1,000 points, 1,000 plus points, 900 plus rebounds, and 200 plus steals. And you also received the Liberty League Defensive Player of the Year. Now, those are a ton of accomplishments. And what does that mean for you?
Well, actually, let me just start with leaving the league, defensive player of the year. I feel like, the league, like sometimes, like I saw an email at the end of the last season, they mentioned a couple people that should be on the lookout next year, and I wasn't there. I didn't, that was like
They're
one of
doubting
the,
you again.
yeah, and I felt like even in my freshman year, I felt like they robbed me of my my rookie of the year. You know what I mean?
Definitely should have got
Yeah.
that. Not because I'm biased.
Yeah.
Me
So I never got like like some type of recognition except rookie of the week or performer of the week, stuff like that, which is like very basic to me. So for them to recognize me with that, I felt like maybe the statistics couldn't like say anything less, you know what I mean? Yeah, because like I feel like when it comes to like defense, I take pride, in locking people down.
And like you can see it in the way you play on the court on defense. You're always moving. You're vocal.
Yeah.
You're moving around. You're telling the other guys where they got to be, and you're always just getting your hand onto the ball.
Yeah.
And just getting so many steals.
Yeah.
Really?
So with the Ithaca record and stuff, like I didn't actually like thought that would happen. I wasn't paying attention to those. I was just trying to do what is right for the team, have fun, but it all just panned out that way, which was I think they're very cool, because if I reflect back on kind of like the hard work and all that time I put in the gym, I felt like, man, I think I deserve it, what I mean?
Definitely.
Like
you're in the history books now too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah,
I mean, you've been working your tail off since freshman year. I mean, since Nigeria days, like you've been working your tail off, and like it's just some awesome recognition.
Yeah. It's I think it's really huge to me. I really feel very accomplished.
That's what's up, bro.
It's also pretty humbling that like you didn't like, because I remember a few weeks ago when the records were starting to pop up, and like because I work in athletic communications and I would notice this, I was like, I wonder if he knew this was happening, and you were like, I don't know, man, I'm just playing my game. And I mean, but like that's the best way to set the records, when like you're not paying attention for them, you're not looking for them, you just get them.
Right.
Definitely not stat chasing.
Honestly, like the 1,000 point, I think my teammate reminded me, was like, hey, I think you're like 12 points away. I'm like, for what? Like, he's like, I'm
like what? Like, man, I don't care. I'm trying to win this game right now.
Honestly, like, like playing for I remember playing for my school back home. Like, I don't think we keep stats of steals, record, rebounding, all that stuff. No, we just play like who won. You know what I mean? It comes down to who won. It's not like how many points you had.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you had a hell of a game, but nobody asks how much points you had. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. So it's like here, a lot of people want to know how much points you had. Okay, they'll be like, oh, you might tell someone like, hey, oh man, we lost. They'll be like, but how did you play?
How did you play?
How many points did you have? Gotcha.
But what matters that we lost? It doesn't matter how much points I had.
You
know what I mean?
We got the win.
Yeah, but like, how did you play? How much points did you drop? So stuff like that, I mean, it shows that our society pays a lot of attention to stuff like that, which is not what it takes to win a championship. I know there's a quote that says, offensive player wins a game, but defensive player wins championship.
Yes,
definitely. That's true.
So,
I believe that.
Yeah. So that's one of the things we were trying to achieve as a team.
Yeah. So now season's over. Now we're seniors. Sadly, seniors. I know, man. It's sad. 4 years go by fast, so make sure you appreciate it. Yeah, definitely appreciate it. So I guess my next question for you is like, now that basketball is over and now you have time to put your attention elsewhere. Like, what is your postgraduate plans for after once you graduate college?
I planning to go for my my MBA.
Dope.
Yeah.
Dope.
But because I'm pre-MBA actually, healthcare management major.
Awesome.
Yeah. But I think I'm just gonna take some time off, to work. So I'm actually like applying to jobs, talking to people.
I know that process.
Gotta network.
Stressful.
It's not
fun. I've been applying since December, so it's like I started today. but you can't stop now.
Definitely,
Yeah,
you can't, bro.
It's
You gotta
too late
keep
to
going.
stop now, so you just gotta keep pushing.
You gotta keep going.
Yeah,
Definitely.
But yeah, I think hopefully everything's gonna work out fine.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it. As long as I know, like, I did what I had to, I had my internships, I had my, my schoolwork and all that stuff. If it don't work out the way, like I planned them to, it's still fine.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a survivor. I'm still gonna figure it out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still gonna figure it out. Like, honestly, like I will.
All right, so we're gonna move forward a bit. So the women's basketball,
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
they're doing really well in the NCAA tournament.
Go ladies.
This last
Allie.
weekend,
Yeah.
they defeated SUNY Poly and St. Joseph
Yeah.
in the first and second rounds of the NCAA tournament.
Right.
Moving on, they face 27-2 DeSales, which they are ranked. If I'm not mistaken, DeSales is ranked 7th in the nation, and this is going to be a tough matchup for the Bombers. What are your thoughts? I know I saw you at the game this weekend.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on how they played this weekend and moving forward?
I mean, I feel like, first of all, I would say that the stage these women are in right now, I mean, we, as the men's basketball, we look forward to this stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when we look at it, like, it's pretty cool. And I feel like the way I've seen them play, I think like if you see them play, you could tell, like,
They have a lot of heart.
Yeah, they are very hungry.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. Who's hungrier than, like they really want it, and I feel like, and they have a lot of talent on that team, and then you can see there's a lot of team ball going on.
Yeah.
So I believe, they worked out for this, like you come to the gym, you see a lot of them, like, doing stuff, putting extra work,
And then, like, speaking on that talent that they have, I mean, sophomore Grace Cannon, breakout season, she scored 21 points on Friday against the Wildcats.
Yeah. I think she tied her career high or something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then,
that's awesome.
And against St. Joe's, a team that had one loss coming into this tournament, and Bombers are up 21 at halftime.
Yeah.
They get busy. They get busy.
It was just amazing to just see these girls, like, they are working.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, shout out Annie Giannoni.
She's from Auburn, New York, by the way, too.
She's a true point guard.
She has put the team on her back so many times.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see on Friday she had 4 points.
Yeah.
On Saturday she had 22 points.
Right.
She knows how to play her role and when it matters.
Exactly.
And, like, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's what it takes.
Yeah, definitely, bro.
That's what it takes. You just gotta know, like, when your team, what do they need from you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah, I think she's amazing. When you watch her play, like, it's really fun to watch,
Yeah, she got the scat too.
Yeah.
She got the scat.
Like, it's funny because since freshman year I got her dimes because
really,
she could really dish them dimes.
Yeah.
Like, she be bouncing, got her eyes all over. That's like,
that's dope.
Yeah. I think that's how you win a championship.
Definitely. Yeah.
So the Bombers will be taking them on they'll be taking on DeSales next weekend.
Yeah.
So that'll be a great game. I mean, we'll all be out on spring break, but we're wishing the ladies a lot of luck.
Yeah.
Good luck, ladies.
We want them to keep on moving forward, and I think that they can keep pushing to move on forward.
Right.
Definitely.
Now, thanks a lot, Peter, for coming in today.
Of course.
Yeah, I appreciate
This was a great conversation.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, bro.
Of course, no problem.
And this was a great episode of Ithaca Fan View. Tune in next week, and have a great one.
Out.